AMG Hobby Talk number 37. We are back here, and Sherry and I are semi-color coordinated. We're actually very close on the color palette scale. Not following, not getting the memo is collectors, scallops, collectors, people. Steve, how are you?
I am actually excited. I feel like a little boy on Christmas Day this morning, and I couldn't sleep last night.
Mm.
My two daughters are coming for a visit today from Kentucky, so I am very excited for them to get here. Plus, I'm
Mm.
off the rest of the week, so
There you
let's
go.
get
Whoa!
so let's get this show over with.
There you go. Perfect. And Blair isn't here because he's hunting wascally rabbits or something. Like, we're not
Yeah,
sure. Like, with Blair, you just never know what's going on.
Precisely. Yeah,
A second to Sherry, you're here. How are you today?
I am wonderful.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So what we're going to do here is this is going to be a little more straightforward. There's no major products we want to touch on. There is the one Marvel Wolverine one. We'll touch on here in a second. I'll get to a couple of comments and everything because we did have some comments and feedback from the last episode. So we'll touch on that. So thank you everybody who did comment on that. And the other piece is we'll also talk about briefly the trade night and the card show that happened this past weekend. By the way, reminder, that is the last card show for the next couple of months. So basically through the summer months, there'll be a little break hiatus before it restarts up in the fall. So
Yeah.
just give you a little heads up on that. That was your last week was your last warning before a little bit of a hiatus for that. The trade nights will continue. Generally speaking, on the last Friday of the month, they will kind of still cycle through the rest of the way because that's in the store and that can happen during the summer months. So real quick before I move on here, I want to thank everybody again who did leave a comment. So thank you to that. And I also mentioned that if there is something you want to mention comment wise, feel free to do it in there in the comment section of the YouTube. If you listen to the audio version, leave us a review, leave us whatever you can do on those platforms. So we appreciate that good feedback. And if you do have anything that is more pressing and you need people in the store hear about it, you can use the contact points. You got AMG Sports Cards on Instagram. You got the website, which apparently I haven't seen in months. Apparently, according to Sherry, she claims. I was like, I don't know. I feel like it changed more recently than that, but maybe I'm wrong. So we'll find out. But nonetheless, you can check out the website. The link is there, and it is also in the description. You can check all that out as well. And we'll mention the eBay store and everything that like that in a couple of minutes. Before we do though, so from last week's episode, we had Upper Deck Extended, new vintage cards in the store. I've got a few vintage cards for you that I'll showcase in a couple of minutes. But I also did get some comments on the little tribute for Charles, which we did include there at the end of the last episode. So first of all, Robin Taylor here says, sorry to hear of the family's loss. So thank you for that. BA 1668, sad to hear of Charles's passing. He was a fun guy, encyclopedia of information. So thank you for that comment as well. So we'll give those heart emojis on both of those. Take care of that. Gotham Collections is back. Hadn't got a comment from Gotham in a little bit. So 4 comments. Well, actually, maybe 5 comments. So I'll go through them one after another. Great video. Then we've got icons, sweet MJ, and sorry about the bad news. So thank you, Gotham, for all the comments. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we've got that there. And again, if anybody has comments on any of these other ones, we do appreciate it. Feel free to throw it in. But again, if you've got questions that are more pressing, use the contact points. If it's something that can wait, then we'll get to it on the next episode. You're more than welcome to include that in the comment section. So that's very good. So, like I said, there was 2 things. We had the trade night and the card show. So does anybody want to tell me first about the trade night and how that went?
Yeah, the trade night was great. I actually found it got busier earlier this time. Usually it's like 6 to 8, but right around 4 o'clock, we had people coming through the door all night, and it was great. Lots of kids, grading day. So they were all excited.
Yeah, we definitely noticed. We provide a space where people can set up if they want to, bring their own collections and do some wheeling and dealing. So we've started to notice those that wish to do so have started coming earlier and earlier, just so they can make sure they have a space. So yeah, and we didn't know what to expect. Of course, it's the school's ending this weekend, people heading out of town for the long weekend. So we were pleasantly surprised with the turnout. And again, that's a great shot there, and that's kind of why we do it. To see all those kids having at it.
Yeah, no, they had an absolute blast.
Excellent. And you can see from the image. So if you are checking out the video version, you can see a couple of things going on. So it's a little bit of a Where's Waldo. You can check it out. If you look over in the corner, you might find somebody over here if you pay attention a little bit closely. But you've also got, like, if you're looking from the trade night perspective, you've got a few of the kids there with the binders there. You've got the Pokemon cards and things going on. So people are kind of hanging around. So there's a good amount of space here for people to kind of spread out a little bit and be able to have some fun with it. So good stuff to hear. And then also, yeah, Sherry, you'll be very proud from the Pokemon because this came in this past week. There it is. My buddy here, the chief Pokemon. He lives.
Oh my God.
Now I got the English version to go along with the Japanese. Steve, this is
That's so good.
it's very exciting time. And it's in a
shiny.
PSA 10. Brad will be very
Yeah.
proud. Brad will be very proud.
That's a little gold mine there. No pun
That right there is a grail. A grail, Sherry. Grail. Listen,
that
when
with
I
your
name the damn
Microdano.
thing, you better believe I'm getting a copy.
You might want to put that one in the safety deposit box.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Like, listen, it's not investment advice, but I'm just telling y'all. I already got my PSA 10 version. I'm good. I'm covered. So I have a lot of fun with these things. And when I have a lot of fun with it, and by the way, I strongly recommend as a collector, if you're going to have fun with it, have fun with it. Sometimes you can have some fun with it. Have some silly. By the way, those are not expensive. I think I paid like $15 for it in PSA 10. Like, it was hilarious. It was fantastic. It costs more than that to grade.
It does. Yeah.
So anyway, have your fun with your collecting and you'll be a lot happier person. Just general advice from me. So good. So trade night, that's good. Did either one of you get a chance to attend or see or hear back anything from the card show? Does anybody want to tell me about that?
Yeah, I was there all day. Steve was there in the morning if he wants to speak on that first.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I always I come in to open the store in the morning, so I always go an hour or so early just to say hello to some people, and in case there's something that might be there for the shop. And also, it's a bit of a family affair doing that card show. AMG hired my mother to work the front door, so I always get the scoops from her throughout the day how the show's going. And again, with the long weekend and all the events taking place, we weren't sure how it would go, but numbers wise, it was pretty much the same as the last 2 or 3 shows. And I think all the tables were full.
Yeah.
If not, they're just 1 or 2. So that was a great turnover, and it really is a great venue for a quick 5-6 hour card show. It's really tough to beat, and I think everyone, even my mother, said she loves doing the front door because people are actually quite pleasant when they come through the door. You can't always say that, so everyone shows up with their coffee or their with high hopes on the day. Fortunately, she's checked out before they leave, but hopefully everyone leaves happy too. But yeah, it's definitely a good community show, for the collecting hobby.
Yeah. No, definitely. It was a great show. Like Steve said, the numbers were there. We had, I think, about 150 tables. People were coming in and out all day. It was fantastic. I actually had my best buying show. I got a lot of vintage Pokemon and holos that will be coming into the store over the next 2 days. So stay tuned because I finally got my hands on some.
Nice. Well, that's kind of what I was going to ask, is that whenever you've got a regular show like that, you're going to have some dealers that are going to be your regulars. And it sounds like you've got a pretty good rotation of dealers who are there consistently. The only concern I always have when it comes to a show that's regular like that is unless the dealers are doing a good job rotating through their stuff, it can get a little bit same. That's the only time it gets a little problematic. As long as there's enough dealers who are kind of rotating through things, it keeps things fresh. Because then you can go by and you can feel like you go and you feel like, oh, there's a chance for me finding something that I didn't see last time or the time before that. And that's always that's something for some of the bigger card shows that I'm starting to see a little bit that I'm getting a little worried about, because some of the dealers are very content to just sit pat on the same stuff. Well, then you kind of know to skip the table because you already know what they got. And so after a while, luckily, it's some of those bigger shows, you got enough tables. You can, all right, I'll bypass you. You got the same stuff as the last 10 shows. So fine, I'll bypass you and go somewhere else. But you always want to have a couple of dealers then that are still rotating through stuff, getting new stuff in all the time. So it's good to hear that you actually were able to see some new stuff that fit what you were looking for. And I know you were hoarding all the G-string. I know that's what was happening. You're not saying it, but I understand. I understand. I do understand. So that's good to hear. So we've got that going on for us. And one other thing that we'll touch on, like I said, before I showcase a couple of items that came in the store, is we did mention the whole thing with the eBay store. So I'm going to share it with you. Again, you can use the contact points we offered, and it's also in the description. So I do have it on there. So we do have the eBay store there. There are weekly auctions, which we've talked about in the past. You can see right at the top, if you click on it, it's ones that are ending soon. You can check it out. Young Guns. You got Rittenhouse Star Trek stuff here. You got the Michael Jordan PMG that we showcased previously. So you can see that. It is right there. So you can scroll through and just see whatever new is going on. And it is new and old because there are some older cards on there as well. So you can check out a little bit of that. 1991 Upper Deck Heroes Brett Hall autograph. I'm familiar with that one if you remember that one from back in 91. And then, of course, you got your complement of Connor Bedard cards. So we'll see. Down the road here this summer, we may start showcasing some items that are on here just because as different stuff comes in, it might be worthwhile mentioning. But for now, just in general, we can recommend in the description. You can check out the link to it. And there's new stuff in there all the time. So you can just check it out. And auctions are running. So you'll be able to potentially pick up some stuff if you're interested.
Yeah. The auctions run Sunday to Sunday, and we do add stuff. Steve's always adding new items to the eBay. So you can check back pretty well every day and you'll see something new added.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to add here, Steve?
Yeah, just again, another week of really solid buying. I picked up a substantial collection over the weekend, which I'll probably feature a lot of the pictures in next week's podcast. And also some really nice baseball, like, $200 to $500 range cards, which we don't get a ton of baseball in the store, nor is baseball my specialty, but there's a few names I noticed and they were, nice, low numbered, autographed rookie cards. So I'll probably be, processing a lot of those collections that we purchased the next few days. And again, next week, probably feature some of the cards in our podcast.
Very nice. Very nice. And
And
see, as I was scrolling, go ahead.
I will say the Brad Hartland looks like he might have ransacked one of the collections I bought. Brad the collector sometimes will stumble upon something on my desk and be like, "Oh, what's this?" And so he's added a couple nice pieces. So anytime he can add something nice to his collection, it's a bit of a stress reliever for him too. So he had a smile on his face adding some of the cool cards to his collection.
Interesting.
And you owe me money, Brad.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brad the collector marauding and coming by and taking something. I see what's going on there. All right. I heard of that guy. He's a bit of a troublemaker, that guy.
Yeah.
Quite the troublemaker. I see. And see, as we were talking and as we were showing it, it's like I actually saw something that might be of interest to me. So, and I'm not going to say what it is. So I'll discuss it with the people who may concern later on. But the point is, you can probably find stuff if you scroll through the eBay store. Check it out. You never know. You never know what you might find. So that's some good stuff to note. So thank you all for mentioning that. So let's move on here to one more thing. We'll showcase a couple of cards and items. Before I do though, we did mention that there were a handful of products coming in. There was the Wolverine product. I don't know too much about it. It is Wolverine, obviously, extremely popular character. It is one of the Marvel sets. I can try to look into it briefly. Do you want me to look it up just while I showcase some of the Steve's cards for the Wolverine? Yeah, sure. Do you have a lot of it coming in?
There's
not a lot.
Not a lot, but a decent amount. Enough for the people who do collect it.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the name of it? It's the Marvel, it's Wolverine, but what is the name of the issue, Steve? Do you have it with you?
Yep.
Oh, Sherry's got her there.
Yeah. And I'll queue up the cards here in a second, but I'll pull it up while we're showing the cards.
24 UD Marvel Fleer Ultra Wolverine.
Fleer Ultra Wolverine. That's not a mouthful at all. All right.
No,
sounds good.
A lot of words.
So I will get that pulled up here. And while I do that, I'll showcase a couple of cards that we'll go. So I will find that and we'll talk about that here at the end. Okay. Awesome. So while we're doing that, let me grab a couple of cards here. So these were the ones that Steve shared with me from the store as well. So first you got an SGC, Panini Mosaic, LeBron James stained glass card. Some of the stained glass cards are actually quite fun. It is in an SGC 10, so it is a nice looking card. It's got a lot of shine. It's got some basketball in it. Again, gives us a little bit of variety. Anything else you want to add pertaining to this item, Steve?
No, it's just the stained glass cards are always popular, and love them or hate them. LeBron James is a bit of a chase card in most series. So definitely card has great eye appeal, and like you said, very shiny. I can picture it in a church window with the sunlight shining through it.
Yeah.
The stained glass has definitely become quite a popular subset for folks. So I think it's one of those things. They're nice looking cards in hand. I think you get the better effect of it. If you do get a chance to look at it in hand, it shows off a little bit more. Yeah. Second one here is kind of interesting. A couple of things about this one. So it's Justin Herbert 2020 Panini Chronicles. Absolutely. It's the black variant, numbered to 25. The interesting thing is twofold. So number one, it's the black variant numbered to 25. Justin Herbert's in kind of an interesting spot in his NFL career. We'll see how it goes for him, but He's in an interesting spot, but it is actually an SGC 10 gold label pristine. They're actually pretty tough on those pristines, especially the last couple of years. So that is a much better than average gem card, so to speak. So very high end one.
Yeah, I actually wasn't overly familiar with the gold labels. I know, the Beckett does their pristines and that, but this might even be the first gold label that we've had in the store. Of course, we don't get a lot of SGC out in this area, but yeah, again, like you touched on, Herbert's career, he's got lots of potential, but hasn't gotten over the hump yet. But with a new coach, hopefully a new system, I think this might be a good card to pick up now, because he really does have all the tools needed. So this one's just sitting in the showcase waiting to find a home, and it is numbered out of 25.
Sounds good. And like I said, though, just to bear in mind for folks that may not be as familiar with it, the Pristine, as I said, is the higher end 10 for SGC. And I can speak to it from a buddy of mine who is a bulk submitter for SGC. Earlier in his days of bulk submitting, he was able to get some Pristines. And then for a long time, he sent in thousands and thousands and thousands of cards, got lots of 10s, but couldn't get the Pristine. They became very, very stingy on giving away those gold labels. And they're still kind of tough to pull. So it's their version, it's their answer to the Beckett Black Label. So it's kind of like it's a tougher one to get. Not impossible, but they become a lot tougher in actually handing those out. That's why you can see we had a 10 here, but this one here is a 10 pristine, so it's considered that level above. All right, so we got a Bowman Sterling here, Jackson Holiday. So we've got that on there with a fantastic autograph, Steve. I think it's finest scribble that money can buy.
Yeah. I don't know. I give up on the autographs, but it is what it is. But it's a nice looking card, other than the chicken scratch there.
Yeah, it's sort of a J, and that's about all we've got. It's a J with some other stuff. We got to work a little harder, guys. Got to try a little harder than that. Okay, I'm going to skip down and I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to the vintage baseball, but I'm going to come back to that in a second. So first, let me start off with a PSA 9 78-79 tops Mike Bossy rookie card. So we've got that on here. And it's an older label PSA as well, so it's kind of interesting. So it's kind of a cool one. Bossy has always been kind of an interesting one for me, because he's one of those guys that could have been, because everybody looks at him, and obviously it's not that he wasn't accomplished. 4 Stanley Cups with the Islanders, the Dynasty. You go look when he retired, he was averaging, I think, 57 goals a season. Like, it was ridiculous how prolific he was. He was probably the most prolific goal scorer, perhaps ever. But he basically had to retire. I think it was back injury that basically did him in his early 30s, and that was the end. He just kind of stopped.
I think he only played 9 years, maybe 10. But yeah, I agree. He's probably the most prolific goal scorer. He got the puck anywhere near the goal, it was going in.
Yeah, and unfortunately for him, like, bad luck for those who remember hockey history, when he had to retire, was still in the 80s. So there were still a couple of years left of high octane offense where, a guy who already has goal scoring talent could have had a couple more seasons where, like, imagine a couple more years in the 80s where he's able to rack up a couple more 50, 60 goal seasons. And we know he already had 570 goals as it was. He should have been 600-700 plus, and who knows. But a bit of a what if. In the same vein, actually, a bit of a what if, because he didn't quite get to finish his career on his terms. You got a 68 tops Bobby Orr here in a 6, so it's a pretty clean looking copy.
Yeah, love the 68s. Tough to find, nicely centered, and this one isn't too bad.
Yeah, that's nice.
And for this one, we got a trio of vintage baseball. So this one's pretty good. We've got a 56 tops Koufax, a 53 tops Jackie Robinson, which has the distinction of being a Jackie Robinson card that's become very popular, especially the last couple of years. The prices on those have escalated quite a bit. 53 tops is one of the nicest sets, but Jackie is also card number 1, which makes it particularly condition sensitive. Because usually if somebody's going to elastic band the thing, Jackie's going to be right at the front of it and is going to get the elastic band treatment in a lot of cases. And it looks like at some point somebody had a little bit of tape going along the top of this one.
Yeah. This actually came out of, I remember several months ago, we featured it on the podcast, the World Series tickets. The guy that I got these from had these, which were in on the deal. And, once you put them in the PSA holders, it just, I don't know, it cleans the cards up so much more. Like, yes, they're lesser grade, but when they get in that encapsulation, they just present so much nicer. And for the future owner of them, they now know what they have. So a one is a one. So there's no argument on what the grade's going to be, but definitely cleans the cards up, and they present very well with nice colors.
Yeah,
I agree. Absolutely. So between the three, 56 Koufax is the second year, and it's a white back as well. So people who aren't familiar, you can have black or gray back. So depending, for most people, they don't care. They're not going to worry about one way or the other. But I do know some folks that are picky about it, where they're trying to build either a white back set, a gray back set, or both, if you're particularly ambitious. So there are two versions for those ones. This one is the white back variant, so it is labeled appropriately. As I said, the 53 Topps Jackie, that's later on in his career. The last year for him was 56. And then you got a 54 Topps Jackie Robinson as well, all in PSA 1. So a trio of vintage to go along with that, kind of to finish that off. So thank you, Steve, for sharing those. Now, to finish things off here, we'll do one quick review just to talk about it. So the Fleer Ultra Wolverine checklist and details. So I think they've got it labeled as, I don't know if I think you guys said 2024. They've got this labeled as 2023, but the article is from this year. So I'm guessing this is the same one. So I'll double check. If it isn't, we can double check. But that's what the box looks like. Fleer Ultra Wolverine is what I've got here. But they've got it listed as 2023, and this article from Beckett is recent. I was looking for 2024, but didn't see it. So I don't know. Does this match up with what you saw on your end? I can try to double check here, but I wasn't seeing 2024. Yeah. So I was trying to find 2024 just to be on the safe side, but I wasn't sure. And right now, if I look at David Adams, the 2024, it looks like the same box that I just showed you. Yeah. So sounds to me like, see, this is where it gets a little confusing with the years. It sounds to me like this is the product, because I don't think this is an annual product. So
that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So perfect. So I will include a link to this in the description for those of you who want to check it out more thoroughly. If you're familiar with Marvel and you're familiar with the Wolverine character, you can check out a lot of that. So let's quickly take a look and see. You're going to get some nice art cards, and it is the Fleer Ultra branding. You do have the Jambalaya. So there you go. You've got that going on for you. So you got Deadpool Jambalaya there. Very popular brand. You got the EX Century there. So so it looks like it's going to be a lot of characters associated to Wolverine. So we've got our gold medallion there, which is great, based on the 96 design. Ultra Stars, which pulling some old inserts from the past as well. Pop Culture, which looks like we're doing some pop art style. Claw covers. So it looks like we've got a little bit of everything here, going through them. Comic cuts. Scrolling through here. So I think a pretty interesting brand. My younger brother is very much a comic book kind of guy, so I think it works out for him. So basically, at a glance, here's what we got. 6 cards per pack, 12 packs per box. 12 boxes per case with 2 6-box inner cases. The set size is 100 cards, and it is coming out this July, so effectively this week, coming in there. And this link will direct you to the checklist, which will show you all the different parallels, which are listed here, including printing plates, which you should expect at this point, and also confirming what we were just talking about. The release date is in 2024, and it is listed as 2023 because confusion.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Fleer Ultra is a Upper Deck brand, and our friends at Upper Deck need to get Steve, we got to get our years together. Like, we can't be having 2023 products in 2024 and like continuously. We couldn't be sure until we had to double check. It is listed as 2023.
I'll worry about it next week because I'm on vacation.
There you go. Steve's got his priorities straight. That's important.
I don't know much about Marvel. It's not my forte, but a couple of those mock-ups I actually like.
I think the one that'll be, so there's a couple there that I think are going to be very popular, folks. I think the Jambalaya will probably look pretty good with a lot of those, because those ones are big ones, and they're generally pretty tough cards to pull. So if you pull, especially a big character like Deadpool has got his 2 movies with Ryan Reynolds, and then there's going to be a 3rd one coming out with Wolverine. So like, to me, the combination of things I think will probably help out that kind of. So a Deadpool Jambalaya in a Wolverine set with the Deadpool movie coming out with Wolverine. So I think that's a good combo. Again, no advice at all. It's no cheese string them on, but do what you can. Do what you can. So I think there'll be some good cards in there though that'll be popular with a lot of the fans, especially of some of those characters. And it looks like they use some good inserts and stuff they pulled from the archive to pull some good inserts that I think people will like. And you got your parallels and everything going along with it. So if you're into the Marvel persuasion, I think it looks like a fair product. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So before we move on, then anything else we want to touch on before we let Steve flee? For his vacation.
Yeah, just we're heading into the second week of the extended release. It's getting well received. Lots of cool inserts, funky cards, of course, Bedard heavy. It's priced well, it's selling well. So yeah, all you collectors that couldn't make it in last week, come on in and gobble it up. And we've got a nice supply of it, and lots of blasters. So some really good pulls coming out of blasters. So yeah, a little bit of something for everyone. So definitely, come and pick up some extended.
Yeah,
Perfect.
for sure.
Actually, thank you for reminding me. I was going to ask you there at the end. Any particularly crazy polls in the first little bit there for extended, or just a little bit of everything so far?
Nothing crazy. A lot of people are getting it and taking it home. I think I might have seen a Bedard at a 250. Couple cards. The red outbursts, but nothing super crazy yet. But
That means
it's just a nice
still in
looking
there.
product.
Come and get it.
Yeah, and we haven't. I'll have to try to get some. We usually will feature some pulls, but not a lot was pulled out of the store. I think everyone picked it up and took it home for the long weekend. So
Yeah.
I would think people will be showing up this week with some goodies. And it's hard to buy that stuff too. And I looked at a couple cards, but when there's no comps or anything, like I don't know what to pay for it. So I'm like, yeah, give it a week or so, and then come and see me.
All right, sounds good. And I think we'll look forward to that. So now you can the dream still lives. The 1-of-1 draft card is still potentially out there. So if you want a 1-of-1 Bedard, it's not the 1-of-1 Bedard, but it is a 1-of-1 Bedard. So gold up or something. So go for it and give it a shot. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll let these folks go so they can go running. So we got Sherry and myself in a semi-coordinated up from location. So thank you, Sherry. I appreciate you. Steve, collector, the scallops collector, the people collector of vacation time, because it's about to go off and take care of that business. So good luck. Enjoy your vacation, Steve.
I will be unavailable till Monday.
Sounds
well
good.
deserved.
Here you go. Perfect. And we will be back, and we'll go see if we can wrangle a wild Blair from somewhere. We'll see
He
if we can
actually
find
just
him.
walked in. He feels guilty, and he's out there wiping down the showcases. So.
Disgraceful. Utterly disgraceful. Utterly disgraceful. On that bombshell, we'll leave you for this episode. So we'll be back with other ones. Again, all contact points are at the bottom there. You can check it out. Check out the description. You can check out the eBay store and check out what's going on there. You can also check out anything related to what's going on, events and things in the store, new products, availability, all those things are available there. So you can check that out. So for everybody here at AMG, thank you for checking this one out, and we will catch you in the next one.